This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives and Soul Agreements. 3 audio CD series, metaphysical meditations, sourcing series, and sleep programming. Tara has also collaborated with Emmy Award-winning Shane Stanley and Marla Maples on numerous DVDs. Tara Sutphen is a master in the psychic sciences. If you'd like to find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams, visit her website at tarasutphen.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphen. And happy full moon, everybody. It will be culminating at 12:07 p.m. It is at 24 degrees Pisces today with a lunar eclipse. And that lunar eclipse will be shown on slooh.com, SLOOH.com. And today my guest is Patti Stanger. She is the Millionaire Matchmaker. She's one of my very best friends. And we will discuss love, relationships, metaphysics, Mount Shasta, and holy places. Because we've been traveling the world, and it's been a lot of fun. So we'll share all of our experiences. And if you'd like to call in, you can call us at 844-390-TALK. And welcome, Patti.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good.
We had a late night last night. Tell everyone we were so tired this morning. Okay.
Yeah,
we're watching the moon.
We were up with the moon. Yeah, the moon.
Are you going to tell them what to do on the lunar eclipse, that they're supposed to let go?
Well, yeah. Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so the lunar eclipse is a letting go eclipse. So you're supposed to, at the time of its culmination, or you can do it like right before, write a piece of paper down of all the things you want to let go. Like really think deeply about what is blocking you from your flow, is like I like to say. And you can burn it, or you could just crinkle it up and throw it away, but it's really supposed to be like you've had a really hard time with this one thing or two things and you can't seem to get past it, and the lunar is supposed to take it away. So it's going to be a little bit of a hard eclipse, because not only is it lunar, the moon goes void at 12:07 too. Yeah.
Oh,
so
does
it's a combination of you might not get the effects till the next day when it goes out of the void. So you might feel like, oh, it's slow, like you're stuck in molasses or quicksand, and you don't really feel like you let that thing go that you really want to let go, and it may not affect it till the next day. So so just be a little patient with this moon. This moon's a tricky moon.
Yeah. With the Pisces, Pisces is all about the deepest parts of yourself, and it's connected with past lives and your past and the hidden places, all your secrets, all your just all the idiosyncrasies that we carry, the guilt, the shame, the upsets, the things that you just don't want other people to see in the world. You kind of hide it.
Especially if you have addiction issues to food, alcohol, drugs, obsession, but we like to obsess over people when we're in love with them and they don't love us back. So those kinds of people who've had the hardest struggles, those will be affected. If you are a birthday this week in Virgo or Pisces, you will be affected. And the best thing you to do is look at your house structure. Where does Pisces and Virgo fall in your houses? Because each house means something different. For me, it's a letting go of a friend, because it's on the cusp of my 11th house, which is friends, hopes, and wishes. So it's going to be, who am I letting go? It's definitely not Tara. So who am I letting go? And so you want to look at your house structure. You want to Google, if you can, and see where does it fall in your natal chart. That's really important too.
Yeah. So, sourcing on the moon. What people ask me all the time, why is the culmination important? It's because it's moving all the waters of the world. It is the most intense time upon the planet when the moon is full and when it culminates. It's and then with an eclipse, it's just, it's huge. Whereas always a solar eclipse is it's giving you something, and a lunar eclipse is it's taking away. So if it's taking away something, it's at 24 degrees Pisces. You want to make sure that you are in control of what it is taking away, because otherwise the universe does take away something. So you want to be
don't fight it. It's a really tough moon, because Pisces out of all the signs of the zodiac, Pisces is the most addictive. It's mystical, it's spiritual, but incredibly addicted to what it wants, and has a hard time of letting go. And it's very emotional, it's very irrational. If anybody's ever been in love with a Pisces, they know, don't try to figure them out. Don't try to fight them on a rational level, because they're just going to go all over the place. You got to let them get messy. They're wet. They're wet. They're wet and messy. You ever
feelings.
Sometimes they're fishy-wishy. They like to get a little too wet sometimes. So you got to let them get emotional and get it out of your system. And the thing that I think with Pisces is that they are beautiful because they feel. So when you feel someone doesn't have compassion, Pisces usually has a lot of compassion.
Yeah, either that or they've gone to the dark side. They're either of great light, or they're, because they're struggling usually with their past lives.
But it's usually like their core value is that they're feeling so much. They're feeling so much. They don't know how to deal with their feelings. Male Pisces have a really hard time because they've been taught not to, feel anything. Be a man. Suck it up. Where women get really emotional. If you watch Ashley I from The Bachelor in Paradise recently, she was on our show, Millionaire Matchmaker. She's the crying virgin. She can't stop crying. Okay, that's a true extreme of a Pisces. And she is a Pisces, by the way.
Yeah. No, and Pisces is, you come in with either a lot of grace or a lot of things to work out, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. And so it's about who you want to connect with, and things that you want to clean up. And, these can be hard tests that you are challenged in your life. So, it's always kind of an interesting, I love Pisces. I have a lot of, and water in general. I have a lot of water in my chart, but I also have a lot of fire. So I help everybody kind of like move through some of these, torrid feelings. So, hey, I want to talk about the show, because a lot of people think, that, they're trying to find you out in the world, Patti, and her shows, talk about your show now.
Well, we've been
you've been on two, right?
It's on WeTV. We've moved from Bravo to WeTV, and it's a little different. It's more of an intervention show. It's called $1 Million Matchmaker. We're at Harrah's. We have the toughest cases, and they come to spend a week at Patti's boot camp, and I am basically figuring out their situation and cleaning up their act. And these are extreme cases. We've had a lot of celebrities on this season, like I said, Ashley I and Ohani, which was J-Lo's first husband. They had a tumultuous love affair, on again, off again, for many, many years. We had lots of different people on this season. Flumpty Dumpty, or Robin Kastner, an old-time favorite from Millionaire Matchmaker, came back. And, when I'm in the hot seat, as I like to say it, I don't know what I'm going to get. Like, I'm not studying the cases. Tara and I watched the Tony Robbins movie this week, I'm Not Your Guru. And Tony has his own process, and we're not putting him down or anything, but I don't study the audience. I go into my audiences when I'm speaking live or when I'm taking you in the hot seat, and I'm reading vibrations psychically before I get in there and figure out and clean you up. So my process is very different than a lot of people's. And every person cried. I think I was going for the Barbara Walters record. I didn't try to make them cry, but I don't know why. I guess we had a lot of heavy stuff go on. One woman was sexually abused by her father, and that's why she would never accept love in her life. Another one's mother left the father, and the boy of this particular family, the man that we were working with, Derek, he just was angry for like 20 years over it. And so we try to clean up your situation because, like, we believe all roads lead to the point of origin of something happened in your childhood. And Tara and I believe something happened in your past lives. So it can go even further. I don't think we or Bravo is that advanced yet to explore past lives, so we keep that on the DL. But it does end up in the situation of when I'm talking to them, we just kind of edit that out because it's not mainstream enough yet. But we believe, like, there's a trigger. and the trigger is what sets your trajectory for love. Like, a lot of people criticize me. Well, I was adopted, and my mom was married 3 times, and she didn't have really great marriages. And so I had issues with the father. And so people, kind of condemn me, and I'm like, dude, I'm really good at fixing other people up. I'm working on my own life right now. I'm single right now, so let me go at my own pace. And everybody should go at their own pace. There is no time limit. I think that's the biggest problem I see in love, is that everybody puts a time limit on it. My sister got engaged, and therefore I got to get engaged this year, And, you're rushing. Everybody has their own path and their own situation, and no 2 people are identical.
Yeah. But can you imagine, being in the hot seat there? You're just so good at that, observing when someone is, not being truthful or truthful with themselves. We were talking about this just in the Tony Robbins documentary. He brings up the truth. You all of a sudden have to face yourself. Right. That's the key he's facing. To whereas, Patti does that with your love life. You have to face whatever you're fearing, whatever the block is, and why are you not having love?
Right. And sometimes it's painful. In Tony Robbins in the movie,
it's painful.
He kind of stole a little thing from me, which, okay, thanks, cool. I make people break up with the boyfriend or the girlfriend that's not the one. So I have this law of karma that says if you're dating someone right now, it's a perfect time with the lunar eclipse. If you're dating someone and you're wasting someone's time, that person's never going to be the one. You're always wishing for somebody else, right? You're trying a bigger, better deal, trade up. It's time to let go, because the karma that you're incurring with that other person is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. You're wasting someone else's time. They're believing you think they're the one when you really don't think so. So in the movie, he makes somebody break up, which, I do. That's my thing. You've seen it on the show a million times. And then I just looked at her and we were watching the movie, and I said, that girl's going to go back to her boyfriend because she wasn't complete in the scene. Because he couldn't say to her, why did you accept a man who's less valuable to you than the husband who got away? She had been married once before. Husband was very alpha, very cold, didn't speak his mind. The boyfriend is the opposite, very feminine, too feminine for her. She was looking for balance. And, you think this is a great love story where it ends all that, it's one of those happy ending things. And at the end of the movie, you find out she goes back to her boyfriend, because you have to clean up the why. I'm all about the why. Once you have the why, you can let it free. Most people don't get to why. And, like we've done studies on cheating. This is a great example. So statistically in the United States, women cheat more than men. Isn't that shocking? But we just don't talk about it because we're embarrassed. We feel ashamed to cheat. Men are like, oh, I went in the locker room. I got this hot girl on the side. It's so cool. I got my wife here in the hot girl. Women would never say that. So statistics have shown that women cheat because they're unmiserable and unhappy. They tell their husband. The husband doesn't do anything about it. He just coasts, and they go out and find another lover. And in our society, the cheating, it's really, why am I cheating? It's not like this person's a better person. Many times it breaks up and they go back to the original partner. It's because we don't get to the why. Why are we doing what we're doing? And that is the goal. Clean up the why, let it go, set it free, clear the space, he or she shows up. It's simple Sally syrup, really is.
Yes. Yeah, cleaning up our lives. That's an ongoing process as adults, isn't it?
Right. You do this with friendships. Sometimes you're stuck in a situation at work. You can't stand your boss. You can't stand your coworker, and you have to stay still, permanent. You have to say to yourself, do I love this job enough to stay because they're making me miserable, or do I leave? A lot of people are going through that right now, career struggles. And, lunar eclipse will help you incredibly with that. And you have to say to yourself, well, then I got to get a better job. So it's systematically, in a job world, you would bigger, better deal. You would trade up. You wouldn't leave your job unless you had another one. So people think that's the way to do it in relationships, and that is not the way. It's the opposite way. Clear the space. Take some downtime. Detox. Breathe.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot. Patti and I love to get into these really in-depth conversations, and we've been talking about what is the difference between relationships and making money. Because making money is a sole purpose. Like you yourself you walk into your career and it's your decision, to whereas when it's a relationship, it's two people's decision. And so where's the choice? Where's the destiny? Where's the choice?
Where's the free will versus destiny?
Yes. Yes. So we've been going back and forth on that a lot. We love to study that.
Because, no one gives you the manual of life and says, these are the road rules. These are the reps. Like, what does past lives mean to me? What is my soul group incarnation? There is a very strong thing that Edgar Cayce talks about, the most, famous psychic in history. He's one of my idols. Edgar, if you're listening. And basically, he talks about the Akasha Records, which is a hall of records of our past, present, and even future lives to give us a trajectory. But, we come to Earth. We have no memory of the past. Some of us are much more evolved and spiritually centered, where we're like, oh, yeah, I meet this guy, Yeah, that's you. I know you. But then other people are closed off, not working on the spirituality, and they're like, I don't remember that person. We have deja vu. We talk about deja vu. I've been here before. I've recognized this person. And, then you go, okay, where's the free will and the destiny? Like, are my appointments set up? You see someone who's married for 50 years. Did they only get one? And they had the perfect match. And then you see somebody like Madonna, who's had a lot of lovers, or J-Lo, and you say, wow, they got a lot of men in their life. Or let's look at Taylor Swift. She's only 20-something, and she's cranking them out, right? So you have to say to yourself, everybody has their own path. What's the free will versus the destiny? And that's a hard thing to figure out, because that's something you can only figure out for yourself. There's no, Torah of that, holy book that says, here's the Bible, study it, this is exactly the way it is. Because things don't run so smooth in life, And I believe, personally speaking, from studying love, that we do have appointments. And sometimes the other person is not awakened. We talk about this with twin flames versus soulmates, which the twin flame theory is that there was one soul, split in half, male, female, comes to Earth. They meet up, probably not that many lifetimes in all of their lifetimes, for purposes of mission purposes. So they come together for love and romance, and that solidifies the relationship, and then they go off and they help the planet raise its vibration. But sometimes in these cases, if you look online, YouTube's got a ton of stuff on it, by the way, that the female is way more evolved than the male. She's often older. She's been around the spiritual block, and she's trying to pull the male up, and the male's running away. He has sex with her. He fools around with her. Sometimes he doesn't even consummate the relationship. And then he runs away from her, and then he comes back, and he runs away. And it's a push-pull, toxic, terrible relationship. Don't wish for your twin flame. Wish for a good old-fashioned soulmate, okay? Because it teaches you lessons, but it stretches the spiritual muscle and the emotional heart muscle like you've never seen. So you really have to be centered through that process. And a lot of people say, I've met my twin flame, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to wake up. And it sucks. And you say, okay, well, that's not really fair to the person who's awakened. Why not meet somebody who's a soulmate who actually match you on your own frequency? So it's a rough period for people. And there is a free will versus destiny, and nobody really knows what it is. I mean, nobody has the 100% this is the way it is answer. Would you agree, Tara? I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah, wholeheartedly. It's an interesting, though. We just go round and round trying to find all the different keys and different modalities to clear your life when it comes to some of these love issues, because there's just so many. It can be just the simplest little things. But I have found, this is what I found, that there's two ingredients that create a really stable life with a partner and within your life too, and that is harmony and safety. Those are the two ingredients that you have to have in a relationship. Have to have harmony and safety. So that means that if somebody bugs you, you're not accumulating like anger. You're going to let them be whoever they are, because you're going to be harmonious. You're going to take that step into compromise. And then on the safety level, when you make a commitment, when you step in to take care of people or love people, you love them no matter what. No matter what happens, if they need help, you're there. That's my thing.
And I believe, like, in, you know, the power of prayer and the power of meditation. I believe you stay centered, you go in, no matter what happens, you put yourself first in that department, in that spiritual department, because you got to be healthy mind, body, and soul. And if this person is toxic and throwing you off your game, I don't care what they say upstairs, okay? The truth of the matter is you can't take yourself out of the equation and self-sacrifice yourself for the other person just because they're not spiritual enough to lead, you know, be at your level. You got to worry about your own health. Because when you are in this situation, with this twin flame situation, you will get physically sick. You will feel them all the time. They're sick, you're sick. You will get colds. You will get headaches. You can end up in the hospital, things like that. You have to worry about your own spiritual, you know, frequency and your aura more importantly than theirs, because they will take you down. They're not evolved enough, and they know that.
Right.
They know that. That's
right.
the one thing they do know. They want what they want when they want, and they get narcissistic about it. And you're like trying, like, but God, you gave me my twin flame, and I got to pull you back up. It can be physically, emotionally, spiritually exhausting, and there's no one to talk to. Very small support group system on this. You can find some on YouTube, but you got to find somebody who really knows what they're doing. So research it. It's like picking a doctor. Research the person you think resonates with your truth. And it can be really healthy. And even in soulmate relationships, those karmic mates. We had some terrible past lives with this person, and you're coming back to work on the crap, and you're just toxic city, you know? You know, my mother used to say, with oxytocin pulsating in a woman's body, if you're 40, I'd say 45 and under, you got a lot of estrogen in your body. And when a man and you make love, he has no oxytocin. It stimulates the bonding agent. So that is the crazy agent, we call it. That's the agent in your body. It's a hormone that can make you go nutty cuckoo. You know, the stalkerazzi at 2 o'clock in the morning running by your ex-boyfriend's house to see if he's with another woman. We've all done that, right? And so that is kind of like the karmic glue that's saying, I can't let this go until I fix it. I can't let this go until I fix it. And sometimes it's better to let crap go and don't fix anything, because it's going to take you down with it. And we've all been there. You know, it's that time of the year, we're going into the holidays right now, where everybody's reevaluating their love life. Summer's over. If you live in the East Coast or some cold weather place like Minnesota and you haven't gotten a boyfriend or girlfriend by Labor Day, you kind of feel like a failure. Like, what's wrong with me? I didn't meet anyone over the summer, and now we're going to hibernate for the winter. And then the holidays are going to come, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day, and you're going to reevaluate your love life, and it's a rough time to be alone. You know, it's the time to really snuggle up to your best friends, family, coworkers that you get a real strong bond with, people that you're in your support system, because it can be totally, you know, on the brain, like, why am I blocking? Why is love not showing up? And I've been there. Trust me. Tara's my teacher. So you heard enough about me this last week. She's been staying with me, and we've been working on both our love lives right now, you know, trying to clean our vibration up. We went to Mount Shasta for the last 2 weeks. You want to talk about Mount Shasta?
Yeah, let's talk about Mount Shasta. So we went early.
Yeah, you know, and tell them what it is. Yeah. Tell them what Mount Shasta is, so they know what it is.
Well, go ahead, because you're so good at telling about exactly Mount Shasta is.
Mount Shasta is this small, little time warp kind of place. Things close at 8 o'clock at night. There's very few restaurants, very few grocery stores. It's a beautiful mountain town.
We could have starved.
We could have starved, right, exactly. So the first week, we went there to feel the energy. It's a very strong energetic place. Spiritually, it's known as the home of Lemuria, inside the mountain. Now, for those who think Sedona is a fantastic place, it's like Sedona's the sister and Mount Shasta's the brother, or the husband and wife. They're yin to the yang. And they plug in a circuitry which makes you, the rumor is if you've gone to Sedona and Mount Shasta in 1 year, 365, your life kind of falls into place because they're plugged in to a grounding level that makes manifestation happen. Why? Well, they say that, you know, Sedona is the lost continent of Atlantis, and the lost continent of Lemuria is Mount Shasta. So Atlantis, very advanced, didn't like lower energy beings, didn't feel if you were not at their frequency, you shouldn't live with them. And they wanted to throw them out. Lemurians wanted to help these lower frequency beings raise their vibration up to their level because they're in the fourth dimension. And So they had a fight, and they blew each other up. It's amazing how spiritual people still can blow each other up, right? The only difference was they had crystals, which was far, better than the bombs we have today, and they just fell into fragmented pieces all over the world. So one piece was Mount Shasta for Lemuria that ended up in the United States, and the other piece was Sedona, which ended up also in the United States in Arizona. And Mount Shasta's in California, for those who don't know. It's a town that's like time warped. You feel like you're in the 50s. And the people are kind of like
maybe in the 30s.
Right, even they're checked out. They're not really hippy-dippy like Sedona. It's a little bit of a younger place. There's a lot of mountain guys, a lot of hot guys, by the way, who are climbing the mountains and eating in the local 3 restaurants that they have. And we got a cabin by the lake, and we went to these very sacred spots. So we went to feel the frequency because we were going to a very famous spiritual Kundalini yoga retreat the following week with Guru Dev, who's a very famous healer. So before we wanted to go with Guru Dev, we wanted to center ourselves because sometimes when you get into an energetic space like that, high frequency, it can upset your equilibrium. So Tara was all calm, and I was crying for the first week. I was letting go of a lot of stuff. I had terrible nightmares, which usually means that my system is being cleaned out. And finally we go to these sacred spots, and one was called Panther Meadows. So the American Indians would go to this place to meditate, do ceremonial magic, and raise their frequency. This is a meadow you cannot step in. They're cobblestone little rocks that take you to the meadow, and they go all the way up the mountain. And it is the most beautiful place to have a picnic, meditate. I mean, it is something out of what butterflies are flying. It is incredible.
Bluebirds coming to our feet.
Yeah.
I mean, it is gorgeous.
It is
gorgeous.
Fantastic. And then
flowers.
This particular mountain is an unusual mountain. You don't have to hike the mountain like traditional mountains by yourself. You should park the car at the bottom and you hike up. This mountain has a road all the way to the top. Tara was like in awe. She was like, oh, my God, we don't have to get out of the car. So we drove all the way to the top of the mountain, and you see Shasta straight on, and you sit and meditate there. Another great spot. Then there's this place that we fell in love with. It's called Stewart Mineral Springs. That's a town outside of Shasta. It's in Weed, yes, not weed, W-E-E-D, not known for, marijuana, but the weeds, like you pull from the ground. It is exquisite. It is owned by the guy who owns Finehorn, which is a very famous spiritual retreat in Scotland. And you go there, and they have silica baths. Baths in little rooms that you take. Silica is supposed to reduce the toxins out of your body. It's very rustic. It's hedonistic. It's co-ed. You're going to be walking naked with your sheets all over the place, men and women. You go into the sauna after that for 5 minutes, and then you deep plunge into a little bit of a river behind the cabin. Everyone was doing it. And you detox. You just shred. And then when you're done, you go and have
really cold.
Really cold. Tara did it. I was
really,
a rinse.
really
I took a shower. I was like, it's not that I was naked and running around hot guys, by the way. It was that I was just like freezing. Then we drink the water, and the water is the same water as Glassberry in Scotland, which is supposed to be the water of the Holy Grail. Dr. Moto analyzed it. It's got the same frequency, the same analyzation, and it's special spiritual love water. So you want to head over there if you want love.
It's the only 2 places in the world that has the same minerals included.
Right.
So it's the Chalice Well. It is the Chalice of Love, in Glastonbury. A lot of people don't know that. The Camelot. Yeah, story. It's beautiful.
So it's the love story of Guinevere and King Arthur. And then the other thing is that the water of Shasta is holy. So you want to drink as much. It's delicious. I've never tasted better water in my life, and I'm a water freak. I'm all about alkaline water and all that. You drink all week long. You put down your sodas, you put down your lemonade, and you just drink. And it nourishes the spiritual body. The aura gets brighter. If you've got some kind of illness, we're not saying it's going to cure it, but it's definitely going to make you relax. It puts you in a relaxation state so that you can clear. And then we went to several other spots. After we were leaving Stewart, we had heard there's lots of activity, UFO activity in the area. And we looked up over this ranch that's right outside of Stewart Mineral Springs, and there was a UFO. And we took a picture, and I believe I put it on my Instagram if you want to check my Instagram. You might think it's a cloud. It's not. It doesn't move. Doesn't move.
It didn't move for hours and hours.
It didn't move for days.
Yeah.
So when we got back to our hotel at Cloud, we went to another hotel in the Cloud, another little town where the festival was happening, or a spiritual festival was happening. There was a picture on the wall in the restaurant. It was the exact same, UFO. It was crazy. I mean, everyone's like, oh, my God, you saw a UFO. So it's kind of cool because the people in the Cloud know the difference between a cloud and UFO. So they were letting us know. On the main drag in the Cloud are a lot of spiritual stores. So there's this books called the Telos books. They're the books of the town that's inside Lemuria, inside the mountain where the people live, and they tell the history of Telos. And one of the main keepers of the gates of Lemuria is Saint Germain, for those people who love Saint Germain, who is the guardian of the twin flames. So if you're going through twin flame crap, like I was, there's a lot of activity here because it's known as the home of the twin flame. It's supposed to clear your energy, put your life back in balance, and if you're having issues with your twin flame, harmonize it. And you'll read a lot about twin flame. It's a little esoteric. It's not 100% accurate. They don't have like a lot of details, but it's interesting to read the books about the Telos and their life stuff because in Lemuria they marry their twin flames, and they're very tall beings. So they're like over 7 feet tall, and I kept feeling they were Dutch. Because they say that the tallest men in the world come from, the Netherlands. And I kept feeling they were Dutch when I was reading. They're blonde, Aryan, very Viking, but skinny, not wide. And you read about their societies, of how they manage what's life like in Telos. And this woman channeled these 3 books, and then she died. She knew where there were certain sacred spots. She kept it hidden. She wanted to protect them. And she had been to these sacred spots and channeled information, her guide, who was Lemurian. And in the book, there's this place called the Temple of Union, which they say you don't have to physically go there. You can go to sleep at night and ask the Lemurians to take you to the Temple of Union, and they will harmonize your relationship, and if you don't have a relationship, bring you one. They say they're not matchmakers. They're just going to raise your frequency and adjust you. Like an animal would send a sound off in the wild or scent off in the wild to attract their mate, they're going to adjust you so that your mate rendezvous with you. Kind of a cool thing. And they say to do it every night.
Yeah, and then Patti wanted to sleep under a pyramid, so if we go back, we're going to do that.
Yeah, there's a pyramid that you can put in what your manifestation is. If you're having financial health or love problems, you can put it in, and it magnifies 50 times, and it's on the mountain in Shasta. So there's a lot of things we didn't get to, because we were doing a seminar with Guru Dev. And if you haven't checked out Guru Dev, he's amazing. He's a healer. He is the right hand of Yogi Bhajan. After Yogi Bhajan passed away in Kundalini Yoga, he took over. And he looks Lemurian. He's about 6'7", 6'5". He's as tall as could be. He's Mexican. We all know Mexicans are not tall. So he's like an alien looking. And he taught us how to work on our system as far as healing goes, vibrational healing. You probably will see a lot of videos online with him and Gurmukh, who's one of his best friends, who teaches the yoga portion of it, not the meditation portion of it. She's on
and
YouTube.
She's hard.
So she's like, we call her the Nazi yoga instructor, because she is so ruthless. You cannot cheat. You cannot. If you got to keep your arms.
And she's in her 70s, mid-70s. She looks like she's about 40. Yeah.
And the asanas that she teaches us, which are the poses, are held for very long periods of time without mistakes. You can't make a mistake, even if you're a beginner. She starts screaming you. So I couldn't handle it. I got up. I ran away. Okay, I'm a meditation person, not a yoga person. I got up in the middle of the class. She pointed to me, and 150 people in the room. And she's like, "You, where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh my God," and it was like Scary Mary. But the whole meditation practice was beautiful. We got healing this way we were there. It was an interesting experience. We learned a couple of poses that became our own. The heart chakra pose is my favorite one because it opens the heart chakra, and you love and you have compassion, and you feel more. And then there's ones like for the father, if you're having issues with your father or money issues. So Tara did a special reading on Guru Dev, and he gave her a special sequence. Why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah. Well, thanks to Patti. Patti, she is very good friends with Kripal. And Kripal is really one of the biggest witches in the world. And she facilitates Guru Dev coming to America, and he lives in Rome. And his whole motto about Rome is, if you can conquer Rome as a Sikh, then you can conquer the world. And he is a saint of the Sikh tradition. And so I've met Kripal a few times, and so Patti suggested that I be his psychic. And so Kripal jumped on that, and I was Guru Dev's psychic reader for this event for his time in America. So it was really fun, and you have to do seva. They want, Sikhs are very egoless. You don't know who anybody is, and they are the biggest people in the world. It is incredible to watch and to know them. So, pardon? What happened?
Tell them what seva means.
Oh, seva is when you have to give service to others and that you serve.
Unconditionally, with no expectation of in return.
Right.
So everybody gives seva. So they find something, maybe it's helping with the food, or it's putting the chairs away, or whatever they need to do that day.
Right. And it runs smooth.
Right.
Everything is clean, beautiful, the most genuine people and genuine smiles. It's really, it's been like touched by grace.
So tell them what my seva was. My seva was.
Yeah.
I was Tara's assistant for the week.
You're right, for the whole week. So
I made all the appointments. I got organized. I got them tea. I made the schedule. I was seva the whole way through.
Food, because
I got the food because we were starved, right? Because we were starved.
Yeah, well, food was a big deal because they would book me. I was part of the entourage, and at that same time, they would book me with all the participants for readings, and so I was
during
from
lunch
1
and
to
dinner.
1:30. Yeah, 1 to 1:30, 1:30 to 2, 2 to 3. These hour and half hour appointments, and I didn't even have a minute, not even a minute in between them. So I was just taking them right after the other. I'd set the timer on the phone, and the minute the 30 minutes were up, boom, the next one would walk in. So Patti arranged all my food and was arranging things for me. And, it was great. I enjoyed every minute of being there. Yeah, it was really fun. But I had a lot to do, so I was really, really super busy. And then we made a lot of amazing friends and all over the country, all over the world. Yeah, a lot of doctors were there. You wouldn't know that they were doctors all over the world. A lot of, some lawyers, a couple lawyers, but mostly like big Google people and people who are creating huge projects for the internet and like the biggest in the world, really. And I don't know if the seva process is part of it, where you feel that you're giving in some way, and so it releases you from the guilt of the ego of, well, I'm just making this for the world. Because I was a couple years ago I went into a heated ray chamber, the red ray, which is 115 degrees or so, and they're little chambers that you go into. It's a healing modality. And so so what happened is I got put into this chamber with this guy, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm half naked in here with somebody I don't know. And so he knew who I was, and so he started talking to me, and I was like, oh, so I'm gonna expose him then. I said, what's your greatest accomplishment in life? In this crazy heat that we're sweating like profusely. And he said, creating 4G. And so, that was his seva to the world, because he really wanted everyone in the world to be able to get the internet. And I thought, wow, that was such a great purpose. His name is Alex Lightman, by the way, but really great guy. But seva. So Patti, it was wonderful. Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah, it's good. But seva's good because you don't think about you. So you think about someone else. You know, that's why they say always go do charity work if your life's not moving. But you got to be in balance, and you can't forget you too. So there are those who go to extreme seva and they give too much, and then they can't come back from that. So, you know, where they're constantly giving. I have been one of those people in my life where I've given too much, I've created monsters, and I'm like, dude, I got to stop this, because then you forget who you are. So it's good to do seva in spurts, but be in balance with who you are, because you got to, you know, have your needs met too. I'm not saying be selfish. I'm just saying that if you give too much all the time and you're always in seva, you know, I worked for someone for 3 years where I was in seva for 3 years and never had anything of my own. And you have to be very careful of the balance of giving and receiving, because receiving is also part of life. You know, you have to be in balance of both. And you know, like they say that reciprocation, you know, is also part of life. We can't just walk away and just give all
right.
the time.
Well, you know, Patti and I were in Brazil in January, and that's really what I learned at John of God. You have to be willing to receive. That's the key for John of God. It's not about so much as you know, because people who give, you'll notice that they die really fast if they're sick,
exhausted,
because they don't know how to receive. You must know how to receive as well as give, and
right.
So it's a real balance about life.
And so it's very hard as a woman, because we're taught from a very early age to nourish, nurture, and basically give. The mother always gives, right? The father takes, and the mother always gives, right? And so when you're a woman, you start to the lines get blurred, because now we're not making equal pay for equal dollar, but we're making more money than we've ever made. We're more in the job market than we ever made. We are more in college than men. The statistics have shown us. So now we've got like 3 jobs where we only had one, you know, take care of the kids and keep the house clean. Now we're not only going to work and paying the bills, but we're taking care of the family, including our husbands on top of it, or our partners on top of it. And it's like we're freaking depleted, and we don't ask for help. We don't ask for help. That's another thing women don't do. We'll take care of it. I'll handle it. And I hear so many women, I'll fix it, I'll take care of it. We can multitask. Men can't. So what happens is we become so much in service, we forget who we are. And then we deplete ourselves of energy. And if you're not filled up and your aura and your energetic space is not shining bright, you can't help anyone else. You got to help yourself first before you help anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really true. It's interesting how that works. You know, you have to be strong to help other people. You know, we had just seen that this week of someone struggling so hard, and yet they're allowing themselves to get so weak as they help a sick parent. And that's the bottom line. It's stop. You have to be strong to help others. You have to be right in the resonance of wellness.
The other thing is sometimes you give and you give and you give with the idea you're going to get back. We're talking about emotional giving, not so much, you know, monetarily.
Not physical.
And they can't meet you at your own level, so they can't give back. And you're expecting more, and then you get frustrated. So you have to look at yourself. Why am I giving? What's the purpose of my giving in here? I mean, if they're children, they're helpless, of course you're going to give to kids because they can't help themselves. But when it's an adult, you're working a relationship, a friend, a lover, anything, a coworker, and you're giving too much, and the balance of the justice of scales are off, you need to stop, pull back, and say, I need to stop being the giver. I would like to be the receiver, God. And you pray to put yourself in a receivership situation, and you let it go, and you stop giving. And they will notice.
This is my motto on giving, is that whatever you give, it will come back to you. It might not come back from the same source that you're giving to. It's always, you know, but you should never stop being who you are. Yeah, just give.
Well, no, I don't agree with Tara on that. This is good. We're not agreeing. This is good because I think sometimes when you give too much, the balance is off. You really need to, I think you need to check your balance off. And
well,
say,
if it's the
am
same
I
person.
going overboard? Because sometimes we get typecast in situations. For instance, if you're a rich person and your friends are poor and you're always picking up the check, that's not acceptable. If they can't take you to a nice restaurant, let them take you to In-N-Out Burger. Let them take you to Olive Garden. You know, there are plenty of places you can go where they can afford to take you out at their financial level. So that would be a perfect example. Like someone's always picking everything up, and the other person's never picking up the breakfast, you know, the movie tickets. You got to stop, because that means they've accepted the way things are, and you probably have never said anything to them. You need to say something to them calmly, sweetly, in a nice manner. So I feel uncomfortable doing this all the time. It doesn't feel right to me, you know, because you're becoming a parent now. You're becoming their mother or their father. So you have to think about it like that. Balance is key to everything in life.
Yes, it is. But it also is. I wasn't necessarily meaning from the same person, like taking advantage of you. I'm saying it's just within your heart to give, because you should know when enough is enough. You really should.
But
you know,
sometimes you get
but you don't
it happens
expect
in
that.
the family. But
Giving
sometimes you
is
get in the family where mom's going to take care of it and don't ask dad, and you're typecast into a role you don't want to be in anymore. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. No one chips in. No one sets the table at dinner. No one takes the garbage out. Like, there's so many things that you get typecast in, and then we just coast until you collapse. Yes. But you got to stop. That's not going to work. That your needs need to be met, even if you're a parent.
Yeah, it's true. And it's, you know, I believe in magic every day. And so, you know, walking a beautiful life. And so, you know, it happens like that. You know, we were laughing because somebody said to us, a store owner, she was going to give us a baptism. So we jumped it. Like, ooh, we don't know what it is, but we're going to go for a baptism in Shasta. And it turned out to be really beautiful. We were shocked, you know, how beautiful it was. You know, and how warm the water was in that lake, because you know, the waters are not really very warm usually in Shasta, but that lake was up high and seemed to get a lot of sun. It was small, so it was nice and warm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, and it was a beautiful lake. Remember that? Just that shimmering water. It was like magical, so magical. Castle Lake. We loved it. Yeah, we loved our whole experience there in Shasta and in Brazil. Patti and I've just been, you know, like everywhere. We were just talking. We've been doing a lot of oneness this week. It's the Golden Orb out of India.
At the end so Tony Robbins is also a oneness person like us, and he went to Oneness University in India. A rumor was that his wife had motion sickness and wanted Shriyama Baban, who's the head of the Oneness Institute, to heal her of this, you know, terrible thing. And they kind of like realign your frequency, and she basically kicked it out. She doesn't have motion sickness because they fly a lot. And at the end of the movie, you see people putting hands on people's heads. We call that Diksha, which means we're all connected to the same source of energy, and we're all conduits of this golden orb energy, and that we can move your energy to clear your space. And so you see it at the end of the movie. He doesn't really talk about it. He plays the oneness music. He puts the screen up with all the oneness stars to put you in a kind of relaxed state, if you will. And they are like the highest frequency I have ever seen. I've been to Amaji. I've been to Mother Mary, John of God. I have never seen anything like this. They do Skype, basically seminars from the Institute with the monks. They're having one, I believe, this weekend, if you want to check out Oneness University. And one is in Kauai, one is in Toronto, and one, I can't remember the third place. Might have been Austin, I'm not really sure. Anyway, long story short, we do go around the world for those who are listening from around the world, too, is that the monks are in a very high frequency state. They are Brahmin. And in India, those were the people who were the alchemists who could manifest money, food, water, whatever they needed in a very short period of time. and they have some kind of alchemy they work with, and they are teaching the alchemy for the first time. And it is very cost affordable. They do not ask for a lot. I mean, we went to a 2-day seminar. It was $300 with 2 amazing meals in it. And I was like, for 10-hour days, I was like, it was nothing compared to, you know, what most people charge in seminars. And they're fantastic. I mean, the music, you can listen to Oneness music on YouTube. It's got a beautiful, energetic sound to it because it's a high-frequency state, which will put you in meditative state quickly. You can listen and go right out. And they're just fantastic. And Sri Bhavan and his wife are married. They believe in love. They believe in manifesting soulmates. They're very different Indians compared to the traditional Indian culture. They're more modern, if anything. So they have a lot of good stuff to them. And at the end of the movie, you'll see it. You'll see Tony talk. Well, he doesn't really talk about it, but he shows it. Yeah.
Right. Well, and the Diksha, you know, just go onto YouTube and Diksha, and it's great as far as to follow the thread into going and seeing Oneness, because the Oneness University is amazing. We haven't gone there yet.
We haven't gone to the university yet. We were afraid we were going to starve. We're afraid we're going to starve.
She doesn't like
we're not vegetarians. That's why.
Yeah. But I'm really good at eating. I go in with the group, but Patti, you know, I'm
a chicken eater. What can I say, people? Yeah, and they don't have chicken there.
What is it that your mom used to say? She beats her own drum. She's the drummer who beats.
Yeah, I walk to my beat of my own drum. So if I don't feel I need it, I'll leave the free. I can't stay in large groups for a very long time. I'm a projector in human design. For those of you who know human design, and I suck in the energy of the room, and I feel everyone's energy. So I can feel a lot of people at once, which can overload me. So I have to go out, come back, go out. I detox. It's a hard thing. I can't stay in a party too long. I get really anxiety. It's a very strange thing. And so they are supposed to alter your frequency. If you go to Oneness and you go to the university in India, you work with the monks one-on-one and Sri Bhavan, and he basically alters your frequency. So based on electrical circuitry in the brain, they're supposed to change your brain waves, because sometimes we just can't get out of our own way. We're on antidepressants, we're on medication to heal us, ADD, Adderall, all these things, when it really is just a frequency shift. That's all you really need. People think you have to go straight to the drugs, and they're trying to show you that you can do it without the drugs.
Right. No drugs, everybody. No drinking, no drugs. Get back in track. Just be in total resonance and wellness.
I think you lost half the audience when you said don't drink.
Yeah. Well, wine became really popular, but, in moderation. If it's a holiday or something, it's one thing, but not every day or every weekend.
Well, the only thing is because the alcohol frequency clouds your aura, and it creates holes. And
it's hard on your liver.
Right, and when holes come up, there's a lot of spirits and entities walking around. You can't see them, but they exist, and they can jump into your holes in your auric field and play havoc with your mind and your daily experiences. And you don't want someone messing with your energy. You want your energy sealed. You want your energy to be your energy, nobody else's. And these spirits are caught. They haven't gone to the light. They're playing I want to drink some, a beer today, and I want a piece of chocolate cake, and I want to feel what it's like to make love. So they jump in. And then you think it's you, and you have mood swings. Those who have mood swings, most times it's entities attachment.
Well, we've had a visitor this week. We've had he just wants to be heard. I think for the full moon, he's just been coming in, and poor Jose, Patti's handyman, has been changing out the smoke alarms every couple of days because he loves electronics and he can move them. And it's like last night with Cheyenne. Cheyenne was here and the alarm went off, and then she says, "Okay, I hear you." And then boom, it's quiet. Yeah. But we figure it's Patrick. Yeah. My friend, she was the Irish seer. Yeah. Okay, so.
I'm sorry, I had a phone call. Sorry about that. I didn't know my phone was on. My cell phone was on. Yeah. Yes. So where are we at now? I missed that.
Well, we're at the last. Let's see. What would you
that flew by that hour.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Just tell everybody tell everybody the full moon, what you would do, or just a parting wish for everybody on the full moon.
Okay, so for full moon love, this is what you do. If there's a person in your life, okay, who's causing problems romantically for you, okay, they could be a past love, which you have never gotten over, the one that got away. The one that got away is not in your life right now, okay? We need to release them. If it's a boyfriend that you're having problems with, write down the situation. So, like, for instance, if he's, like, cold and aloof and indifferent, or he's not a great lover, whatever was the negative of the situation, write it down, say, I want to take it away. And then ask for the positive. Always
ask for the positive.
Right. Oh, so if he's cold,
Happy
I want him.
Full moon, everybody.
I would like to. So I would
blessings,
ask for healing in the relationship. Ask for the harmonious healing.
Ask for healing.
And
blessings and love. Right, blessings and love. We're going off the air.
If your situation is basically, if you're
say
divorced,
goodbye, Patti.
Thank you for sharing your time with Tara Sutphen. Find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams by visiting her website at tarasutphen.com.